and welcome. Welcome. What's tonight?
Action.
What's tonight?
Action.
What's tonight?
Action.
Oh boy. And so when someone said outside, I said, what action have you done this week? He said, that's why I'm here, I've done none. So we're going to have a little look at what actions you've done. And welcome to those people who are watching us from all sorts of places in this country and New Zealand, because we are Ustreaming this all around the world right now. And people in, certainly Cairns I know are watching, and Melbourne and Perth and other places. So, and those of you who don't have this will get a recording of it off on the member site. So I love Action. This is such a big time place to get involved. Action, great. Who is an action person here? I'm just curious if you think you're an action person. There was a woman just do that. That was an action. So you put your hand up, Lee. Did you notice that? That was very quick. That was, how quick was the action? Bang, bang, reaction straight away. Who's a reaction person? Ah, so some people, reaction. Who's proactive in their action? One person, maybe a couple. Oh yeah. So there's some distinctions that we're going to talk about here. But how important do you think action is? Vital, yeah. In fact, I'm going to give you some clues, and these clues are just so important. And Kelly shared with me today some very, very important little bits, which I'm going to share. And I might even get Kelly to share some. There you go. In fact, I told Kelly, we've got a surprise for you. She said, right. I said, what is it? You'll find out. This will be a surprise. And so she's finding out as we speak. She doesn't know she's actually on tonight, and they're getting a microphone for her to talk about action. So we get it straight in action. So as if she would be not happy about coming on stage and doing some stuff like that. But given that you're the author of some of this material, I think it would be really good to share. Well, we got a little bit, that'll be a little bit later, and so you can worry about it between now and then. Not that you, no worries, just plenty of worries, no worries. Exactly, make it up as we go. So, improvise. We're going to talk about some of the steps that have us in action. And if we think it's vital, can our actions be positive? Can they be negative? Okay, and this is a word I'd like you to write down, and of course you all got your pad and paper because they set that up for us. And Kelly will just make sure you do get some paper, because sometimes people don't get it by action. So Kelly, you might want to just go and get some paper for these people. That'd be great. So because we're going to take some notes. The word I'd like you to write down, if you had some paper you could. And those people, oh here we go, they're bringing them in as now we speak. So down the front there's two here that don't have any. Just be mindful, and there's one over here as well. That's an interesting action too. For the last 22 years, or 27 years, we've been running the iCans, and one of the actions that I really want to see happen is that people get paper when they come in. Alberta, it's one of an action. You remember this, Robert? It seems to be always a little action that doesn't seem to always happen. The paper's there in the book, but it's like, here it is. You've got to just give it to them. But that'll be an action I know eventually will happen. And all it's going to be is a system to have that. So obviously we don't have a system yet after 22 years to be consistent with that. I mean, a mechanic on that, yeah. So the action, the word I want you to write down with action is that there are consequences for action. This is the word consequences. There are consequences. For every action, there is a consequence. There's consequences. And these consequences can be powerful, they can be very positive, and they can also be negative. What do you think begins an action? A thought. A thought. Who really thinks they really are action people? I'm just curious. So about half of you, or a third, whatever. Can I tell you everyone is? Every single one of you is an action person. Unfortunately, most of your actions are reactions from your thoughts unconsciously, because you are in action every second, every microsecond of the day. Even unconsciously, like your heartbeat is an action. You're getting the pH level in your blood is an action. It's actually happening unconsciously. The amount of hemoglobin in your blood and oxygen is an action. All of these things are unconscious, and yet there are other sort of semi-conscious, unconscious actions. Driving a car is an almost semi-unconscious process of action. And you are in action with that car all the time. When you're on the phone and you're dialing and whatever, that's an action. These are all actions, and when you're speaking, that's an action. And you're in action all the time. But as someone just said, I think it was you, Jules, that when you said, it starts with a thought. So let's write down number one, thought, okay? There's a thought, an idea. Now, if we really want to be in action, then we need to do one single thing, which is the only thing we can control on the planet, the only single thing, because we can't control we can't control the weather, we can't control tsunamis, we can't control buildings falling on us, we can't control our wives, right, Steve? We cannot control our husbands, we can't control our children, we can't control very much at all. Are we all clear? We can't control the traffic, we can't. But there's one thing we can control, and the only real simple thing we can ever control is the thoughts that enter your head, which actually is going to lead to action. So number one, thought, and let's put on that, be specific about those thoughts. If we want to get really clearly a real clear outcome tonight on action, then what we're looking for is some very clear thoughts. Because without clear thoughts, our action will be whatever it will be. Does that make sense to everyone? Can you hear the responsibility that's involved in this? Sorry, Jules. If we're conscious about that, we just need a microphone down here so that can be dealt with. Robert's got it for you now, so we get it on the recording. It just means that they can hear back there as well.
I'm just thinking, if we're conscious about what we're thinking, then I guess we can control that thought, and therefore be specific about what we let into our mind.
And this one is probably a real big key, a big clue, that says, how do we get conscious? Because we're now, we're into action, but we're working our way backwards here, aren't we? Because this is action, and we're already back here into thought, aren't we? Okay, we're already back here. And now we're talking about consciousness, aren't we? We're really talking about presence. Being present, right? Being present. That says present. And where is presence? Now. So the way in that is to get into the now. This is very, very hard for the ego mind because it's always looking in reverse. It's driving the car, looking in the rear vision mirror, going in reverse. And looking backwards in life. It's always thinking about what happened. When you came in here, you were thinking about what happened. Today, you're thinking about what happened. You wake up in the morning, oh yeah, I got this. It's all that stuff. Or it's thinking not backwards, it's looking at the future. And the future's a mystery, and the past is history, and the present's a gift, and that's why it's called the present. Okay, it's the only place where thought is created, where actions will actually occur for your future. And our actions will create a future, a result, which is what we're really looking at tonight. We're looking at changing results in your life. And our results that we're always looking at are your happiness, which could be relationship based, your health, a healthy heart and stuff, and money, yep. So these are the three areas that we're interested in, those results. They come from action, and they all begin with a thought, but we've got to just get back that little bit in consciousness about how that is all going to happen. The difficulty we've got, our systems are so well advanced that we can be not conscious to most of what we're doing. In fact, most of us aren't awake very much of the time. We're asleep. We're sleeping right now, this moment, this second. And right there, we're just awake just for a second, then we're back to sleep again. And our mind drifts off and goes different places, and it does it constantly. Where does it go? Does it go to now, or does it go where? It usually goes backwards, but sometimes it's dreaming about the future. And that dreaming about the future is okay, as long as we're, in our actions, conscious. The result of our dreaming about the future is actually a huge driver or desire, which is the desire for the thought. We're driven by desires and thoughts create, and we are creative beings getting this stuff in. Just that we're chasing rabbits all over the place and doing all sorts of strange things. And what we're trying to do in our consciousness is contain this to get some precise action. In fact, you may want to write this down. All wealth is precise action. All wealth. Precise action consistently. All wealth is precise action consistently. Does that make sense? Now, I'm a bit of a hare, I'm a creator, so I'm a person who has got thoughts all over the place. There's others in the room that can relate to me. The difficulty with that, isn't it, Steve, is to try and get your feet on the ground and try and do something straight. And to stay stable. Now, we're going to look at this, and I'm going to get Kelly to talk about this particularly, because she came with this really good thought about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In fact, I wrote it out for her from her work. And she has Monday as a creative day, or it's a kind of that's the creation day. And Tuesdays and Wednesdays, she's got this proactive thing. I'll get her to talk a little bit about that and see how that shows up. So in other words, you could have a little system where you're getting in your proaction, and Thursday is you're gathering your rhythm. Does anyone know what rhythm is? It's like in the rowers, they get into rhythm and they row. Your rhythm is, okay, I do this, I do that, and do that. You know, chop wood, carry water, you know. But there is a rhythm to life. If you're not in your rhythm, you're usually swimming upstream. You know, there is a rhythm that just works. It's like being on the wave. When you're on that wave, you are on the wave. And when you're on the wave, you've got to be very conscious with your actions and thoughts, because you're there. You just got to lean a bit for a little flick here, and you're on the wave. Sometimes we're on the wave and looking around, and then we fall off the back of the wave, or we get dumped. You know. So there's a space when you're on the wave. Everything's working. Who's ever experienced in their life that everything is just effortless and flow is working, and it just seems so? You think, how the hell? Why was it so easy? And you're in that absolute rhythm, that beautiful action. Who's ever experienced that in their life? I'm just curious. Put your hand if you've really experienced that. So 2 people here, 3, this group here have never experienced that, or in consciousness. So it's always hard work, right, Gary? Everything's difficult. Not everything. Well, when it's not, that's the other thing we're talking about. When flow happens. You know, when you're driving along and all the lights are green for a bit? That's what that is, okay? It's called... So you have experience, it's just you hadn't noticed. Yeah, but might not have been watching, might not have been aware. When you're looking for the loan and the loan says yes, the bank says yes. When you start working at a place and you find there's a discovery of a tremendous opportunity and it's surrounding you, and there's a whole business there that you're going to make yourself. How much money are you going to make from that business, you reckon? Rough guess. Millions of dollars. You agree? Millions will go through. These guys are just starting up a new business and we're working with them, and they'll make millions of dollars from this business. Now we're into an action plan, are we not? Were you into action just the other day with me? Massive action. And you've taken action both in real estate and with this. In fact, we might even get a chance to talk to you about that. It'd be good for this action plan tonight. Real cases. Over the next 12 months, we're going to be working with these guys, building a business from scratch, and it'll be on the mentoring call, and you'll see how we start a business, all the structure that goes into that, how we do trading trusts and corporations to start that business, how we do property trust to buy the building where the business is going to go in, how we recruit people, how we get agreements in place, and how do we have the business plan that can never fail. How do we write a management plan? How do we do a marketing plan? Can you see all these are action steps? How do we protect the integrity of this business and the steps of the strategic plan, specifically the primary aim of this business, the why are we doing it? All our action steps. There's 7 of them, isn't it? Right through people, management, marketing, and all the rest, and getting down to the last one, systems. How we systematize the whole business. These are all action steps. Now, we have coaches here, and I do corporate coaching as well, and I'm doing this for these guys, coaching them in this business. Let me share a little bit about this when we're in there. They came across a place where to set this business up, and it's a kind of beauty business. We'll get a microphone down here this way, that'd be great. This business looks after women and their beauty. Do women spend some dollars on this?
Yes.
And they get eyebrows done, and they get stuff.
Hair taken off. Hair
taken off in places that they don't want it. Like men don't have this problem. We shave every day, but they have hair in other places. And we have it in other places as well. What else do we take off or fix?
Make our skin nicer,
we
softer,
get what?
Make our skin more
youthful.
youthful.
Make our skin softer and youthful and anti-aging and things like that. And a lady walked into their little beauty bar thing, and how much did she spend?
$3,000.
$3,000? And
For-
one lady's going, oh, wonderful, and the man's going, what? Of course, men don't spend money in funny things, do they? No. They don't go to Bunnings and come back with power tools that they hardly ever use, but they just want it just in case. Or a whole pile of other things, do they? They don't do those sorts of things. No. They don't do any of that stuff.
No.
And they don't what gadgets like, this is the latest phone.
Yep.
Or, look, you've got to understand, it's a triple S Holden, it's lowered, it's got this and that. I had to get the guards because it had that and so forth. And that was an extra $27,000, which is almost another car.
Not
The base
essential.
model was like 25, but this cost 54. No, we don't do that.
No.
But women do buy handbags that are worth $4,000, if they could. But it's the style, isn't it? So is this business got some possibilities? Now, Karen went to this, she's looking at setting up her one, and our job is to help her and mentor her through this. It's a very one-on-one mentoring process. To quote some numbers from my head, was like about $100,000 to set up the room, the rooms, because you get an empty space and you've got to put partitions up and carpet or floor and all that stuff, even air conditioning in some places, and these things are quite a lot of money. And she was thinking, she was just running past some ideas, what about an action step of finding a place that's already going, because the salon is just a room, but they've already spent that money. And she came across a place that was about $350,000 turnover, $355,000, and they want $77,000. So here's a business with already client base coming in, and all they're doing is waxing the nails and a very basic thing, nowhere near the kind of money that this girl can generate and extra things. So I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, 77, couple of girls, sick of it, been there too long, haven't really got a lease now, just up not very far from here, and we'll get over there, and part of my role will be to go and help her negotiate this, but my number straight away is $25,000. To buy this business for $25,000. And they'll be happy to get that when we finish with this. And the lease needs to be dealt with and all that sort of stuff, okay? So can you see the saving that's happened from 77 to 25 plus the saving of 100,000 fitting out? Although there'll be a paint job and a few other bits and pieces, she's got probably 80% of what she would have spent. The other action step we would take on this is to talk to the owner and get an option on the building, to own it. There'll be more money in the real estate than there will be in the little business, as good as that business is, because what Karen and Lee are going to do is they're going to have a franchised business. Now the lady she's working off wants to do a franchise, but she can't afford the $80,000 to put the franchise in place. So she said, oh, we'll just charge you 6% and you can have it and we'll work it out with you. She's going to be turning over millions and millions and millions of dollars. My offer would be, well, why don't we do the franchise, get it all done. In fact, we can get it for about $30,000 and give it to her. And we'll have our own franchise, because all the processes that we're talking about here are not some unique thing. They're just an ordinary processes. It'll have a branding, it'll have a way of doing this. That's an action step. Now, there's a whole lot of negotiation. We're just very early in this game.
Really? Yep.
Very, very early. But can you hear, how many actions did I say then? How many actions were they in that process? Lots of them. And we've hardly even touched the real essence of this. So all of that started with a consciousness around this, but it began with her as a thought. This is an idea that she's fallen in love with. And we're now talking action. Now, part of the action was to come and see Roy.
Yep.
That's an action step too. Part of the action was that you're on mentoring just the week before, talking about this and asking some questions.
Yep, that was on my goals card.
Exactly. That's an action, the goals card, which we're going to get a new one tonight. So your goals card is a whole action intention, which, comes with these results. Now, are there some things that can go haywire in this whole process? Where do you think the dangers are in this? Here, we're pointing here. What does that mean?
Your fear
The
and
fear,
your worry and
fear.
that all
So, in the thought, here, things can come up like fear, doubt, and worry. Okay, that can all come up, can't it?
Because you're moving out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. So what is a way that you've learned in abundance in our program? What is a way, because we're looking at results, we're particularly looking at the action steps here. What is a way to see that these actions and the consequences that we wrote down, these actions will be very, very positive for us? What is a way to deal with this stuff? Because this is where we can go a bit, how are we doing? And just before we answer that question, can you imagine, and this wouldn't apply to anyone in the room, you understand, there'd be no one here that kind of experiences procrastination or something, would there? You know, when this shows up, does procrastination show up? And rightly so, because currently in charge is fear and doubt and worry. And it would be dangerous to get into action in one sense, although we're going to see some things from Kelly in a minute that will show you how massive action will overcome fear. And there's a thing to do to make sure that that's precise. What do you reckon we need to put in here? This will be business plan. Yeah, that's a lot of intellectual stuff, and these are very important. So we have a business plan, you know, we have a management plan, and we have, you know, a marketing plan, which is really, really important. And we see Roy or whatever, a coach. You know, there's a whole lot of things in there, and this list could go right that. But they're intellectual things, aren't they? This one's just before that. Get ready to say, oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Get into state. Oh yeah. Because once you're in state, can you see what happens? Fear goes, all this goes because you're in state. You're focusing on what you want. So the thought gets clear up with what we want, so the action is positive. Can you see what happens when the fear and the doubt's here? The action becomes negative action. It has to be. It has to go into hide. When you're experiencing, you know, that feeling of stress and stuff like that, you know, that's all that. This wouldn't apply here. No one's ever experienced that, have they? Who can relate to this story? I'm just curious. I should get every hands up. Can I show you? I'm going to put 2 hands up because I go through that too, and I've just gone through it, and I'm actually in it right now with some things that are going on for me that are very, very important for me in my life. And I'm using some really, really good tools and some people who are around me to support me in this, that just to get this right. So I just want to say up front here that this stuff is not, oh, Roy's got it all handled, and, you know, Kelly's got it all handled, and, you know, Robert's got it all handled, or Shane, or, you know, Alberta. We, exactly like you, go through exactly the same thing, but I can assure you one thing, that the people in this place here often have access to better tools like that. And the tools we're using are all the things that we've taught here. They're not like necessary other tools, but there's another part to this which we may get to later. We've created an environment for that support. And if you don't have a good environment, if you go home to a negative place or you're in a negative environment, this is very, very, very hard to do that. And some of you would say, well, gee, you know, and our place can be part of that too. We can have our little groups, and they can get very negative as well. We go through this, so you're not ever excluded from it. You're not say, well, I've got that handle, I don't need to do this ever again. It's just, the truth of the matter is, the real truth of the matter is, it comes at waves with you all the time, and that's that rhythm we're talking about. Is this all making sense to everyone? And if you can see that as a visual, you go, okay, so what I need to be is in state and be focused. And just coming back on this story with Karen, what else could we say about that? I could say one thing that I noticed, you were very excited about this, as is Lee, but you're also very frightened. And if you weren't excited and frightened, this isn't working. Does that make sense to everyone too? In other words, as we move out of a comfort zone, she's got a job. And jobs are safe, sort of. We think they are. But can a job be lost? Can a company go bust? Can things... Of course. So the main part of that is that if you're not experiencing this growth, you would not experience those things. You would just be in your so-called comfort zone, which is uncomfortable. So part of this action is going to get you out of comfort zone. Is that everyone clear? So just notice that that's it, and that's why relationship, coaching, trust, environment. Oh yeah, we're going to put that word in there. Is that an important word, Miss Kelly? That is the word of our week, and it's the biggest one that I have to deal with myself. And we're just talking about this today with Marlene. That, and in relationship, you know, having real trust. This weekend, I'm spending time with my beautiful wife, and we're going to do some meditation. We're also going to do some silent work this weekend. But we're actually going to work, she doesn't know it yet, we're going to work on this. Well, I am anyway. Now, I trust my wife in so many areas and stuff, but I've got some other stuff going on that I'm going to be working on. And that's an action too. An action of me making this absolute commitment to her. I'm in partnership with her for the rest of my life. I surrender everything to her for this. And my job on this planet with her is to bring as much happiness and joy as I can to her life. And in the service of that, to become who I need to become in this. Now, they're all action steps. And are we clear about this as we serve others, that we get more, that more comes to us? Are we clear about this? Because tonight you're going to get a chance to have a look at a book called Go Givers, and how to give, how to truly give. And I'll give you the 5 rules out of this book, the 5 absolute laws of giving, the 5 absolute laws of success. So, trust is a big deal.
I think now, for me, the big thing is when that fear and worry comes up, you can sort of maybe recognise where it's coming from more than before. You just let it consume you.
Because your consciousness becomes more clear.
Yes,
yeah?
since
you
abundance, it's more clear.
Yeah, more conscious of what's going on. Say, hello, old friend.
Yes.
Because that's all it is, just an old friend.
And you know it's holding you back, so because it nearly kept us from abundance.
Yes.
And if it had let us do that, we wouldn't be where we are going now.
Yeah.
So I just have to remember that.
So let's take that back just a second before that. You decided, or Leon, you decided to do this thing, and next minute, oh, we're not doing this. I want money back. I'm not going to come, and remember all that. And that was just fear, doubt, and worry.
Yep, lack.
And lack. Let's put that word down. That's a huge word. And that belongs to this as well, lack of trust. You'll find lack will show up everywhere in most of our actions. And we all suffer from it. It's not like anyone's immune. Just as it comes. What it's really about in consciousness and this state management that you are, it's really in the thoughts that you're able to overcome that. Not pretend it's not there, but say, hello, old friend. I thought you'd be back soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's we stop in action.
Yeah.
See a person on a board break, you know, and they're having trouble breaking through. It's in a heartbeat they stop. That quick. And it hurts their hand. It's just that lack, that unconsciousness of stopping. So you felt that, we spoke to you. We said, we can get your money back anyway. So, okay, and you did it. And we sat there just the other day saying, imagine if I could get into your head and turn all that off and you didn't have any of that. How would you go? How would you go if we could get in your head and just give you a cup of tea and pretend it didn't happen, and in fact it didn't, and they just went on and you'll be still working the shop and you'll be doing your plumbing and...
Still bumbling along.
Exactly.
Banging our head against the wall.
So you're absolutely in action. This is a big, big story. Anything else you want to add to this?
No.
Great job. So it's just going to be such a pleasure working with you in this, and the offer is obviously to everyone we work with to do this. They're moving up into the highest mentoring diamond place we have for this, and obviously they're investing the next 3, 4, 5 years, 7 years, whatever of their life into business, and they want a business to work. Now, are there any guarantees? No. But I can say this is the biggest insurance policy you'll pay, and if we don't get 5 times back of it what it costs, then I'll be surprised. And already I think we'll save it just on the purchase.
Yes.
And if we buy the building and do the terms and conditions for that and set this up correctly. I was saying to Kath and Lee that 80% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. And of the 20% to get through, this is an absolute fact, after 5 years, that's not many, within 5 years, 80% of them fail. And then after that little bit that gets through, 80% of those fail. Now I did some numbers because I've been in business for over 40 years, and if we just took 1,000 business that I started off, there was 1,000 people like me in business. Well, within 5 years, the first 5 years, if there'd be only 200 left, does that make sense? And I'm in there. Within 10 years, another 5 years, 80% of those are gone. So that's about 40 that are left, yes? Within 15 years, 80% of those are gone. So How many? Five. And within another 5 years, we've got 80% of them gone. See, we've now got a number that we can't even actually do a number. Let's say 1 for the sake of it, right? And then I've been doing this for 40 years. So at 25th year, can you see? And yet I've got the original company, Beaumont Developments, which actually owns this building. The original company that I started in 1968. All that time ago. My mother's maiden name is Beaumont, and I named it Beaumont. So, how many times could I have gone out of this game? And have I had my challenges? Of course. But I can put down 2 things to you, and I'm going to just show one of you today, one now that is. That's one. This management of state is everything to deal with this action. Does that make sense to everyone? I'll tell you the other one before we go, so make sure you don't let us go without that. So, let's get into this little plan here. We were talking about this getting to rhythm because we kind of got lost on there a minute ago. Friday was admin, accounting, pre-planning next week, next month, next year, next whatever. And you see, that would be the next part of this. Now, some of you may like to change this and have, well, I'd like my planning on Sunday, or I like my planning on Monday, or whatever. But what it is, it's starting the new week off on Monday with a new page. Because what is today? The first day of the rest of your life. And we've got here for the weekend, relax, renew, and review. And I'm going to really say to you that resting is very, very important. A lot of people have weekends and they don't rest because the stress level is so high, they're actually just getting through to the next battle. And there's another little hint there. You saw the hand go. Did you see it? But it was gentle. It was just rubbing you, and then little finger goes like that, and a little nod, and then you ought to nod back, and then the little hand goes, and the little finger goes, and this is a woman who loves a man. She sees him as a soldier going to work. She sees him working very hard. He's a plumber. He works hard. Like all men, we're soldiers. We go off to work. There's a way of leveraging this, and Lee, you're right onto it now, and you're joining some dream teams, and you're going to be doing your real estate and all that stuff. So, do you think a plumber might have some connections in the building industry? Do you think he might know where the carpenters are and the electricians? And do you think he knows who are good and who's not? Very, very important. So, this new life with your family, your children, this is a whole action plan. So this is Kelly's little creation here. I think it's really lovely. And just a way of doing that. Now, she's going to also talk a little bit about actions as habits. Yeah, it's just, I operate Kelly with my foot. She's. And we've got overcoming fear, doubt, and worry. State, massive action. So next to state, we want to write massive action. So once we're in state, we're looking for massive action. Why are we looking for massive action? Because we want to stop all this procrastination. The procrastination? And in here, I would add one thing about this and get this thing in here, and that's a team. You need a team. You need the team for the people that things that you're not good at. And Jane's doing really well. She even said, I'm now, see Roy, I'm not even a lone wolf anymore. I've got you involved. She's leveraged herself and she's using me as a bullet. She's sending me down as a soldier to negotiate. She's sending in the negotiator who takes no prison. I know, absolutely. Now, the other thing I've written here is research, research, research. Stop. There's a point where you can't do any more research. Now, some people don't do any, so the hairs, make sure you do some. But the others, we've got to stop it because you get so, you know how you're really researching and you're really analysing and you're analysing and you're analysing until you analyse and you analyse, and you know what happened to analyzers? Nothing. They're just stuck. Now, the stuckness of this is just because of fear. And I think they're probably missing a team. They're missing what's not there, and they just need that little bit of confidence. And it depends where they are on that equation, where they're creators of, deal makers and traders, where they are in this. And so there's lots of bits to that. And we already talked about this environment and the importance of environment to make it work. So that's really, when we do the research, stop and then start your action. So there's some things that I just wanted to cover, and then I want to get into some step-by-step process here for action. But I want to stop here for a second. We've got our microphones, so let's have a little talk to some people. And let's give Karen a big clap. Well done. Anyone else like to have a little talk about what they've learned from this, what's important to them, what's valuable here, and what they've noticed? Don't all start at once. Okay, so it looks like me talking to myself. Here we go. Steve's got one. Here we go. Good, good. And if we could just pass that to Steve, that'd be great. And I think Kelly wants to say something too over the other side, if you can get through it. It's good. Go.
I guess my life at the moment's very much got a lot to do with action, but I think the most important thing that's keeping me going, I mean, I've really, in the last couple of weeks, there's been some massive changes. And the most important thing, I think, for me is the support that I've got from my beautiful Jules here. Without that, there would be that fear, doubt, and absolute everything, the lack of confidence would be there without the support of Jules. So that is absolutely so important to me.
Sure. What a beautiful thing. And the word here starts with P, and it's partnership. In fact, this whole weekend for Trina and I is all about this word and that word.
Absolutely.
Partnership and trust. Now, to create that in your relationship and alignment, because when you really work it out, there's only one of you here, and that's a reflection of what your fears and doubts and worries are anyway, even though we want to blame them for everything they don't do. But when you're in alignment, you step together, you walk together, you act together. Now, that means that once you do this, you can just relax and forget all that? No, that's a constant, that's work in progress. Am I good at that? No. Have I been miserable? Yes. Have I done some stupid things? Yes. Have I lacked trust? And yep, all the things. And, you know, there's an action step here to say, today's the first day of the rest of my life and a new beginning.
So I guess it's an identification of that first. So
exactly.
To identify it. But I must say that in our partnership, I mean, the first time we've been together 24 years and we've had a brilliant, brilliant relationship. But it's the first time that we've actually woken up together, done our stretches together, gone for walks, listening to our meditations together, gone through every morning. It's been together for the first time in 24 years, which, wow, what a difference.
You're experiencing what a lot of people have just been having for 24 years.
I mean, my job, I've been up at 3 in the morning, so there's been no ways of being able to do that. So
okay, we'll just stop there, hear that language. I'm at 3 o'clock and it says no way to do those things. Is that true? Well, it is for him. It's the truth. When you're in action, the facts don't matter. So they're the facts. They're the facts. Do you want to know the truth? The truth is, could he change that? Of course. But you know, and he has. So for 24 years it was different. Just like, I'm a plumber, I do that, that's what I do. Can you change it? Of course. He has to, because his back's going to go, his legs are going to go, something's going to fall apart, so you've got to get into action. But this is a precise action, it has consequences. People hide out in jobs, people hide out in circumstances, because for some people, I don't want to come together with my wife, I don't like her that much. I don't even like the time. Hang on to it, just hang on to it. People, and I'm not saying that of this couple, I'm just saying that in the human condition. These are the things that are happening. And people have stories about it, and they explain a circumstance. And their circumstances and stories just take away their actions, or give them a different action, an action of non-result, a result that, you know, is a fairly pathetic result, usually a negative result. When we're in this, we're not conscious that we're doing this. We don't, you know, if you ask them, even a lie detector, they'll say they don't want it, and they'll pass the lie detector, but they're process this thought. They're wishing for one thing but praying for something else, and because they're wishing for something else but wishing for that but praying for something, their actions are not consistent with what they're saying. Most people, when I see them in 95% land, I ask them to hand up who wants to be successful financially. All the hands go up, they all want this, but their actions are nowhere near anything like that. And action is always rewarded. So, Steve, and Jules, you're just a great, great result of this. And, you know, I call this the 180-degree turnaround, you know? That's what that is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And your little girl, she came along by herself, you remember that? Without you. There was some resistance.
And I think that was the best thing that we did, it separated from each other,
really?
actually.
Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting you've got that view.
Absolutely.
She was going through, oh, when's he going to come? Finally you did, and you even got everything else back to front and did IPWs the wrong time and a whole range of things. But what you stood for and who you were in that, just sensational, so congratulations. And now you're in alignment, in partnership in your actions. And can partnership in actions make a difference? Can it make it, what is, you know, if one person does something, that's worth one thing. If two people do it, you get to 11. 2 ones are 11. It's certainly 3, 4, 5. If we can get 3 or 4 together, we can get 20. You know, like it's really a big number. So there's huge leverage. Are there things, Jules, that Steve's very good with his actions? Some things he's very good at. Like
Absolutely.
making frames for putting your wood and
Extremely
stuff.
talented.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Are there things he's not so good at?
Yes.
Just the odd thing. Are there things, Steve, that Jules is just like sensational with? Absolutely. Are there things that she's not so good at? Yeah. And can we come together and make the difference of that? If we focus on what we're not so good at, that's an action. And we can criticise that. I'm holding some stuff on Katrina right now that's causing me to not be in partnership with her and not trust her. And it's over some time management issues, as if I'm like really clever. As if I'm, you know, don't get it mixed up. So I've got to give that up and trust this and get out of the way so that gets back into partnership. Make sense? And I'm sharing this with you because it's very personal stuff and it's just in this, but I'm going to suggest the same thing happens for everyone. What we hold on to or what we think is the other, that finger pointing, 3 fingers are pointing back to us. So everything we're seeing in them is just stuff about us. And that's a huge responsibility to get in action with, to just be surrendered and open into that action. Does this make sense? Now, am I suggesting that from this talk you've got it all and that's it? No, I'm saying this is going to bring up stuff for you to be in awareness for, in consciousness to work through this. But if you want to change this result, you need to be in action, but you need to be conscious about your thoughts. You need to be in state. And you know that fear, doubt's going to show up, lack will show up, and you need to be in partnership if you've got... Now, there are people in the room that don't have a partner. Yet the truth is they do. Every single one of you has a partner. Trust in God and tie up your camels. You have the greatest partner in the universe, and everyone does anyway. And if we can keep out of the way, it's a great guidance. And this is not a religious discussion tonight, and I'm not here to get you to join something, but everyone's pretty clear that there is a spiritual side to you, and that is your guiding light, despite your goals. And I was reading a book the other day. In fact, it's going to be in the book you'll get tonight if you want to get it. It's all about, I think it's a Jewish statement that while men set goals, God sits up in heaven and laughs. Because we get a chance to put it out there, but we co-create, but God has the final say. And if it's in your best interest, it will unfold, and that is an action step. Does that make sense? But some of our actions are maybe moving us in the wrong direction. Who has ever experienced some actions that have taken us in the wrong direction? I'm just curious if you've ever done that in your life. But I put my hand like really big, and I'm so sure that this was the right direction. So absolutely clear. So arrogant that it was. In fact, I'm still hanging on to some stuff that I believe we should be doing in this company, but this direction, and probably it's over here. But my team is working on me. And slowly, it's on a need-to-know basis as they're revealing it to me as we change. On the 14th of September 2011, I'll be semi-retired. I'll be 66 years old. And although I'll never really retire, I'm looking for people to come into our organisations and do a lot of the things, and I just like to turn up and do these kind of stuff and have a little chat. But we've got some incredible people in our place, and we've got some incredible people who we'll invite into our place. And as I speak to you out there, I'm saying OneLife will be, I believe, the greatest opportunity on this planet to work in, and will be the biggest calling that you'll ever have and the biggest thing to step up. And I want you to remember these statements I'm making today, because our company will be the largest of its type in the world and in the history of this planet. And it won't be anything to do with me. It'll be to do with the people who come, the tremendous work that's going on right now. I'm very excited about our future. And I know as an action step on this planet, there's a time, and it's now. And this time in consciousness, as we move through things, as people are looking for spiritual growth and balance and harmony. Are there some actions on the planet happening right now? Are there earthquakes and tsunamis? A month ago, would we think that 10,000 Japanese would be dead? That 65,000 people of a little 390,000 people in Christchurch would have left that town. Over 100,000 will leave within the next probably 90 days, and probably never come back. In fact, the whole island is at risk. It's on that belt, isn't it? And there are forces the actions that are going on here that there are no control of. They're platelets that are moving. They're part of Earth's natural evolution. We only are on here for a moment, just a second. We're in the luckiest country in the world. And things can happen here too. So all we can do with this is take some really good action and be aware of this and enjoy these moments while we go through this. So it's an exciting plan. Okay, so let's have a little look. Well, we were asking some questions and we didn't get too much feedback. We've got these guys to feedback. Is there anything else you want to say, Steve? Because it's just such a lovely sharing that you had there.
Yeah, no, I think pretty much this has made a lot of sense. It certainly has, and thanks for that, Roy. That's great. Yeah.
That's great. Let's give them a clap. Anyone else like to share anything or any comment I've made, contribution, observation? We've got beautiful people who are very wise here tonight, who are around. How about one of my miracle people here? There's a miracle lady. What have you learnt the last 60-odd days? What number are we up to?
199.
199. 199, you've jumped ahead, girl. 199? No, you couldn't be 199. I'm 170.
Yeah.
One.
Oh.
You might be 99.
Okay, I'm lost.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah. No,
Miracle.
119, that makes
That's
better
better.
sense.
That's better. How did I know?
You put a microphone in my mic. And
There
it's
you
like,
go.
oh, okay, 119.
What Colleen's doing is she's working with me on a daily plan. Every day for 365 days she reads a book and she reads a passage and she thinks about that. And I remember when she started, and I know when I started, and I'm 172 I think today. So you're 119. And I knew you couldn't be 190.
No.
So what are you learning from that?
What I'm learning from that is the relationship with God and who I am and why I'm here.
And this is not a religious book?
No, not at all.
No, it's a connection. And it's about forgiveness, about acceptance. And what has changed for you in that 119 days from where you were? If you go back to that person that I met, that was on the phone to me, I remember specifically, or came into my office, where's that person gone? Well, what's changed? I mean, the person's still there.
I'm still that person. The difference,
And the shadow is right there with it, isn't it?
The difference is I've learned to accept who I am and that I don't have to live by the limitations of my beliefs. That's one of the things that it covered early in that book, was what you see isn't actually how it really is, and to see things a different way, see things through how God or
Different, how the consciousness
consciousness
universe,
would see
whatever, sees
which
things.
isn't necessary. I mean, we look at it through our past. We can only look at things from the experiences that we've had. That's the only reference we've had. If you can step aside and go, there could be something different that I don't know. As soon as you accept that, it takes the power out of the things that you think are happening, and that's changed for me. I mean, I can still only see what I can see, but a lot of the things that I thought were a certain way, I can let go of that, because even if I can't see something different, I know that's something that I've only been able to come up with that conclusion because of my previous experience, and that there is another answer. And as I've been open to that, it's interesting the things that have come in, the books I've been attracted to.
So stop there for a second. I mean, you could probably speak on this for an hour.
I could, yes.
Maybe a day.
Yep.
So we get the general. And what I believe Colin's talking about is getting present, getting into now, getting to who she really is. And What Colin's doing is a daily action step. And that daily action is getting her thoughts clear and getting rid of fear and doubt, and in the surrender of that, getting a state of surrender, a state of connection, a state of openness, a state of acceptance, a state of guidance, a state of all things, and lack disappears. And action, trust, partnership, and have we got some results? Has things turned around from the time I met you with no car, no job, no teeth, all that sort of stuff?
From 15 months ago, it's been a progress, and when I fell down, you suggested to get into this, and that's what I needed at the time. It was the perfect...
Nothing to do with me, to do with Grace, and Grace is actually working for me through this.
All the time, yeah.
Same thing. So, well done, well done. Let's give her a clap. Beautiful. Anyone else like to share anything here? If you ask Colin or anyone, Steve or Jules or anyone here, Karen, Lee, Gary, if you ask them, even the ones who have got all these great results, has there been some interesting days? Has there been, oh yeah, has there been time when you get that book, I want to throw that book away? Has there book, I don't even understand what this book's about, you know? And all of that happens. And that's a state management thing, again with this, the state management is an action too. It's a sort of like a little circle thing you go through, which is an action step. And we learn it in abundance, you know, 1 to 3 yes, 1 to 3 yes, and you can do it like that. It's really giving up the arrogance and thinking you know. It's really about getting out of the way. Did you see the look? Didn't know if you noticed that. You picked it. See, he was looking at me, she looked at him, and he didn't even look at her, but he already picked up the energy of that look. Just went like, Women are so good at that. They just slide it in. You know, they just slide it in. We never do that, do we, men? Never. But women are so, what? Because they've been saying this for so long. Haven't you been saying this for, he doesn't hear, because he's a man, he doesn't listen. But when someone else, they say, see? See? I know some women who send their men to me to get them fixed. What I know, young man, this girl, as all women, are very smart. They leave clues, and I can tell you, it really pisses me off, but they're so correct. And if we, and I'm saying this is gross generalisation, you hear what I'm saying here, Jerry? If you could just follow these clues that they leave before, they leave the breadcrumbs, before the birds take them away. There's another look, did you see? And you don't even know this woman hardly. You're just fresh, and she was already doing the look. Women can look at you and give you, they can actually give you, that was a nice look, they can give you the death look. Oh yeah, no, that's it. You can fall over them, they're that big. They leave them like this, you know? You know how you can't find your socks? They're right in front of you and you can't look everywhere but where they are? Yeah, it's male blindness. So it doesn't have to be little, it can be like this big. When they give you the other look though, the death look, bring a man down 30 paces. Just the look, you know? And they withdraw all love and everything. Oh, the coldness in the bed. If you put your hand, it would freeze and just like it just crackle to pieces, you know, just fall apart. And you finally get off to sleep, which takes a long time because you're feeling so bad, and they want to wake you up and talk to you at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because you've been pretending to be asleep, and finally you do, but then they want to talk to you. Some of them. So, Michael, listen to this girl. For some peculiar reason, she seems to love you. I don't have no idea why. But I'd be watching, and she seems like she's got a good heart. Could be good. And usually what I've noticed, women, and this is an action step of women, once they've made a decision, once they've selected you, you know, they're in state for this selection, they're looking for a result. And this is very important, and they don't want any of this. So, this game will go on, because remember our results are our heart and our well-being and all this stuff. And we just get scared, as men, because of a word called responsibility. Because then she'll want me to work hard and make money, and then she'll want to spend it, and then I'll have to do this, and then I can't, you know. Can't I just go down with the mates and drink and get drunk and forget about all this whole thing? And there's children. All of that is all actions. It's about 7 seconds worth of action, And next minute, you got a baby. So, my mind goes in strange places here. And that was a thought. And what were you thinking? And what state were you in? And the consciousness of that. And you were now, in the present. You know when you're in that now and everything stops? Everything stops? That experience of everything stopping. Beautiful. Okay, I want to give you... Anyone else want to share anything before we get into these 5 steps? Because I want to show you these 5 steps from this book. This book, which I'm wanting every single person, or at least couple, to buy this. This is a $50 book, $24. And it will be an important investment. The Go-Giver, the beautiful little story about powerful business ideas. You'll read it over this weekend, and I'll tell you, I guarantee if you take this book home, it will change your life. Change your life. Now, I want to give you the 5 laws. I've been reading it, as you'll notice. This is my copy, and I do strange things with my books like that. And I just keep doing it, because I'll read that again, and I can read it so quick, because I'll just go straight to those ones, and it gives me the book so quickly. So, let's have a look at the 5 laws. Now, you don't have to write these down, because you're going to get the book. So I'd like you to read them. And it's on our website if you decide not to, but my agenda here is everyone will. So the first law is the law of value. Your true wealth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. How does that sound like for a law? What's that? Crazy law. Let's read it again. Your true wealth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. A book like this even, or my book, any book that costs like $24, $30, whatever, if it made you, because you read the book, or in my book, $1 to $1 million, I mean, you're going to have $1 million, more than $1 million, you'll have $10 million. And you'll have $1 million for every child that everyone has here. Could that be a good $30 investment, or even if it was $10,000 or $20,000 to make that $1 million? So could that be Roy's true wealth is determined by how much more he gives in value than he takes in payment. Does that sound like a crazy law now? Not at all. So the book itself may seem like some money, but the value could be worth much more than the book. And how you give value. To an Eskimo, or they call them different names now, if you gave him a Rolls Royce or something, that might not be very... If you gave him a gun to hunt with, or a better something, a better boat, or, can you see his value, or the thing you're giving value for, would be much more to him. So it's also a selection of that value, which we'll cover a little bit. That's the first law. Second law, the law that is the first law. Yeah, that's the first law of compensation. Second law, the law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundant you place other people's interests first. Is that a crazy law? So Michael, just imagine that you placed Cassie's interest above your own. How abundant would you be in this relationship? Yeah, you got it. You know what? Women by nature place their men, their children, their action steps as way above themselves, because they're not as selfish as men by nature. They're nurturing as a rule, general statement. And that's why they experience abundance. That's why they actually outlive us as well. That's why they can withstand pain better than we. That's why they can have children and wake up and be on less sleep, because the men suffer more than the women do when the child's, waking up every 2 hours. Because women have this ability to be able to, because of their nurturing aspect to the child and their connection with that they can withstand so many things. And not that they wouldn't like an understanding husband to be in support for them for this, because they won't look so good and they'll have bad breath and a whole lot of other things going on. So your influence is determined by how abundant you place other people's interests first. So, and we're going to use these rules here in our company and working with our people to have this be. So our job in this place, and my job particularly, is to be an outstanding example of this and to live from these principles. The next one is authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And we're talking ourself, our true self, not the pretend self that we'd like to think we are, but our true self. Have you noticed, Jules, when Steve has shown up here, that his true self has shown up? And that's the one you're falling in love with. That's the one you saw 24 years ago. And women see glimpses of it and they hope it'll return. But men, we are soldiers, we do this other thing. And can I tell you, if you're single in this room or watching this and you're single, you're going to find that after this work, I mean it seriously, you're going to be attracted to a person different to who you've been attracted to in the past, because you show up differently. You know, Colin, when I think of you, when I saw you, you know, when I first saw you 15 months ago, you're a very different looking woman to what you're looking like now. You were showing up very, very different. You know, you're open, you're attractive, not just physically, but you're attractive in your heart of hearts. You're caring, open, available. There's a whole difference in your state management in this. And that is the true gift, as a gift, and a gift of authenticity. And that's part of knowing who we are, this book. There's magic secrets in this book, beautifully written. This is the #1 bestseller around the world. It's been like a little, like most things, best kept secret. As soon as it comes out, we're onto it for you. Here it is. The law, can someone say this word? Receptivity. Isn't that an interesting word? Being receptive to be able to receive. The key to effective giving is to stay open to... What do we know, Colin, about receiving and giving? They are identical. There is no difference between giving and receiving. They are identical. If I give to you, I receive, you know, the feeling of that giving. If I give to you, you get the feeling of receiving, and you get the giving part of that gift back to me. Can you see? It's just, we do it instantly. And so when we're in our other scarcity, lack stuff, and I've been there most of my life, I'm in this position of no abundance. When I'm abundant in giving, like I am tonight, this moment, then I'm receiving enormous amounts. But I'm not here on a trade arrangement to say, well, I'm giving this, so you've got to give me that. You give openly, whether unconditionally. So you will receive then unconditional love. And the universe is not keeping score on that for you, but I can assure you, if I give to Lee or to Jane, I might not necessarily get specifically from them. It might come from Lee or from Carol or someone else. But it doesn't matter. It'll all come. There's nothing ever lost, ever. Nothing is ever lost in this universe. We just think it's lost. Your money goes to someone else who benefits. You know, it's just a circle of stuff. And I think we must have missed one. So there was 5. Value. Okay, there was, okay. Compensation. Oh, I did it. Okay, so missed one. Jumped. Compensation, because the first one was the value law. True value is determined by how much you give, value take in payment. And the compensation, your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Does that make sense? So that's a leverage game. We're going to talk, leverage and adding value. Here is hidden in these words. The first one is value, the next one is leverage. That's leverage. But the leverage is of service instead of in our lack. These are action steps. Okay, so big investment, $24. Taking the book. Get the book and read it over the weekend. It's a beautiful story, and pass the book on. And in this book, there are some rules. And you'll see the rules. And the rules can really, really change your life. Once you get this book, there's another one. For those people who want to do this, and it's the next book, it's called The Go-Givers Sell More. This is more for people who want to do in their marketing a different plan. They go together, and it's an assumption you've read that before you get that. So this is like, thicker book too. This is not one I would, and some people will buy them both, and you can, but I would start here. Get yourself excited and do that. Just for check and see how you are and how convinced you could be of value for this. Who will be getting that book? Just stand up. And the first hand up was first person up was you, and that's for you for nothing. Good, good. Give yourselves a clap. Well done. So, and some didn't, and no one, this is choice. And there's great pressure in staying, and I acknowledge those people who stay down. And never any pressure to do things because you must have choice. Choice is everything in life. And you may even be embarrassed with $24, and that may be an even bigger reason to do this, maybe. Or it may be just the resistance that you have. Or maybe you need to learn about action. That was an action step that required you to stand for who you needed to come. If I was recommending something like this, I wouldn't do it because we don't make lots of money out of, you know, that's not going to make me this year's income. That action step, though, was an action step to have you take to the next level of consciousness. And we talked earlier before when we started about there are consequences for every action. And if you choose not to do that action, that's okay, but notice there will be a consequence. And whatever that consequence is will be something that gets missed out on here somehow. In life, there's always, in action, there's knowing what you want. In fact, let's write this down. Know what I want. Always number one step, know what I want. Now in Karen's position, she wants a successful business that's going to work with and leverage herself and not work in the business but work on it. That's what she wants. And she's got a whole franchise thing. So know what you want. Number two, know there's a price to pay. There's always a price. It might not be money, but there's always a price. You may have to give something up. You may have to give up smoking cocaine, snorting cocaine, or injecting yourself in, or you may have to give up pornographic material. You may have to give up going to the pub, or you may have to give up hanging out with people who aren't serving you. You may have to give up whatever the addictions you have. You may have to give up spending irrationally. You may have to give up you know, going to bed really late because you can't sleep and getting up late in the morning and all groggy because you're not sleeping. You may have to give up that. So there's a price. And that might be, I need someone to coach me, or I need someone to help me with this, I need whatever. So make a decision and know what you want. Second one, know there's a price. Number three, pay the price. There's always a price. What's the price? May not be money, maybe something. Okay, now I just want to talk about something here, and then I want to get Kelly on. But I want to talk about some quick things about other steps that I would strongly recommend you guys get involved in. And if you haven't, who's got our 180-day plan to financial freedom? Put your hand nice and high so I can see. Quite a few of you, good. Who's got our time management program? It's almost the same people, and quite a few don't. That's okay. Most of the people who stood up for action already got them. And these are action people. These people will be successful. So you've got both of those, Steve. You've done, you're in that process, 180 days. So I'm going to do it more for here, but there's some people here that could be applicable to. I'm going to suggest to you that an action step is these two. Oops. If I could have that, that's a very important piece of paper. An action step belongs in these. These two are our major action step programs. They are our beginning of this, a part of our coaching program. And the first one I would like to talk about is, just briefly, and you don't have to buy this program to do it. Obviously it's a recipe and it's very good, and I wrote it so I know it's very good. And if you can do it yourself without it, then do so. You know how there's a gym, you can go to the gym without a person, you know, there's the weights, why don't you do it? Just lift them. But you know how you get a coach, and the coach tells you not only how to lift, but what to lift, when to lift, and sets a program up and tests you and checks, and you know, there's a whole kind of feedback loop. They don't do any work, they're just like the guy on the pool, you know, he's standing on the pool, he's watching the swimmer, because he can see that he's switching his body or he's doing whatever. He doesn't really have to be even a better swimmer than the swimmer who's in there. In fact, most swimmers who win the gold medals, certainly the coaches can't perform like them. The best tennis coaches can't play as well as the the tennis player is going to win the Wimbledon or whatever. Bless you. But if you're like most people, 95% of our population, then you usually need something, some rails to run on. So that's what this is really about. And I wrote this specifically because most people are not conscious and their thoughts are in such a mess that their actions don't give them the results. That's why we do it. And I don't care where you are, you could be our most successful person. You know, if I look at Kelly and I say, you know, she's one of a really successful person. I look at Alberta, one of the most highly successful people. She's been with us for 3 or 4 years now. You know, I said to her, this is what I think you should do. She probably would do it, you know, and she'd probably know that's true. Am I reasonable on that? Yep, she's nodding. Is that a reasonable statement, Miss Kelly? Yep. And, you know, I've got, when Roger was with us doing this, he was doing things that, you know, he was going right back to, you know, what I call forward to basics. So this is a 180-day plan to financial freedom. And if you were on the mentoring call last night, we had Peter Horsfield, if anyone listening to that, and he did the stairway, didn't he, right through, right up to freedom. It was a really good one. If you haven't heard it, just lock it in. This overview, abundance in all areas of your life. Month 1, under new management. Home office and partnership in money. There it is again. Partnership in money. That's the first month to get that done. And they're very simple steps. They're not complicated. They're just... Month 2, increasing your income, commitment to reducing your debt, and our 40-40-10-10 plan, which is a process we go through. It's a very, very clever process of how we deal with our money, how money keeps... how I've been able to create this flow of money. Month 3, we're into the 3rd month, that we're getting, at the end of this, we'll be 90 days into this good debt, bad debt, knowing that difference, but actually acting on it. You know, there's a lot of theory out there, a lot of stuff, people know stuff, like this stuff you know. Knowing and doing could be miles apart. You know stuff, but don't do it. Your actions are not always consistent with what you know. Does this make sense? Strategies for paying off your credit card debt and keeping it that way. You know, most of us have learned something about this and then forgotten, and it sort of sneaks up again. Why do we have a wealth account? What's the reason of having a wealth account? What's the action step of a wealth account? Why do we have that? To get wealth, you know, right? And tax, did you say? Attraction, law of attraction, so it's a money magnet. And we have our little satellites going off, real estate, shares, business, and everything else. Yeah, sorry? And there's consistency about that, and we're putting it in money, and we're doing it as automatic millionaire. It's doing there's a whole lot of reasons there in that sense. Well, what else? What's another big reason why we have this? Sorry? Can't hear? Habit. There's a habit in that. Yes, it is a habit, and it's an automatic habit. We do it. One of the reasons that we do this, the second reason, is to pay back bad debt. Any debt that's in the way we want to get rid of, and you know, it's one thing to create more money, but if you're carrying with you all this bad debt, then we should be using our wealth account to get rid of it. Now, it's not anywhere near as exciting. It's because it's of the sins of the past, sort of thing. But it's very important, and we do 2 things with that. We actually have strategies to make money, and then we'll pay it bang like that too. But it is about getting rid of debt. So that's the second thing. These are major steps. There's a 3rd step. A 3rd reason to have a wealth account that we use the money for, just like paying back debt, creation of wealth. There's one more reason, a very, very important one. Right? To invest in yourself. He's a smart man. To invest in yourself. You're the most important asset and action unit that you possibly can have. And so your wealth account is designed to buy the book, you know, to buy a 180-day plan, to do a 9, you know, to go to the seminar, to do whatever you need to do, to buy the computer that will make you the money with Dr. Klaus's program, to do whatever it is that is a tool to create further funds. Does that make sense, everyone? So remember, it's not, oh, it's in the bank and I can't touch it, it's not for anyone. No, it is actually your wealth creation system. And the best investment, Steve, you could have ever made was in this. You know, and you will get 10, 20, 100-fold, a millionfold back on that. Okay, so strategy for paying off your credit and investing 10%. And month 4, becoming an investor. This is a way of being. So, be, do, remember? Have. And we're talking about having all this, which is our result, but we can't have this if we're not doing, which is really action. I'll show some distinctions on that in a second. But if we can't be who it is that needs to do and have. So that's a trust thing, that's a partnership thing, that's a state management thing, that's all of these things. Who are you being? So you're human being, not a human doing. And 5th month, managing change. Is the world changing? It's going to constantly change. What's the ego trying to do is have everything not change. Stay. It won't. The world will change. In fact, the more you resist, the more you're trying to keep the job, the more you're trying to keep everything exactly the same, the harder this is. And applying what you know is on the 6th month and asset protection. Now, we actually go in further than that. But we do these first quarters, and you've heard them before from me, but this is the step-by-step process, and it says, first quarter, clean up the mess. 2nd quarter, get into action. 3rd quarter, profit. 4th quarter, review and renew. My life is 4 quarters every year. That's all it is. And we have I have a word here called be the money. Think as money thinks. It's amazing how the money never sleeps. The money is always making money. The money is a great servant, just a poor master. When you're the master of the money, it's a servant to you. When money is the master of you, which it is for 95% of the population, you are the servant to the money. And most of your unhappinesses are about serving money, being of service to money. And you're in a trading situation, unfortunately, in the wrong trade. You're being bought low and sold high. And that's a terrible trade. That's a lose-win situation. So this program's all about stuff, and we even go through each week of what to do. This is a week-by-week process. So we've got the months, we've got weeks. Tick the box. And some you can be a little ahead of and some behind, but roughly you'll be in this thing. So this is an action step. My highest regard for this. These are $1,000 programs. You get them for $395, so they're not very expensive. And anyone needs help with this financially, we'll always help them if there's anything in the way ever on these programs to make sure you can afford to do them. And the other one is time management. And whether you use my one or someone else's, but I'm going to suggest to you time management. Who could do with an extra 9 40-hour weeks? I'm just curious if you have an extra 9 40-hour weeks. You can get that out of this program. 9 40-hour weeks, all it is 1 hour a day earlier. 1 hour in the morning. Yeah. You're getting this? You're doing it, yeah? Yeah, yep. Tonight you're all going to get the gold card. But in this program we have a special one. That's why this bit of paper was so important. You'll fix that for me, Gary. Just put them in order for us. And I want to make sure that tonight, as an action step, you get your gold card out there and you get it and make it. And some of you are reading a gold card. I had my gold card in my pocket here this morning and today, and I did my goals as I do. And can I tell you, I forget sometimes. I mean, it is a bit of a rarity, these days, but it does happen. And there'll be people, I won't embarrass you, but you've got to just check in. Are you doing that action? Is that action happening for you? And if you are, and today you can put your hand on your heart and say, I did that today, then you are in action. And I can assure you, who's ever read their gold card ever in their life? I should get every hand up. Who found when they read it and were consistent with it that their goals came about? I'm just curious. Yeah, every hand will go up because that's the way that system works. And this particular gold card has this within it. Each little card has a little card, and the one is my mission statement. The questions for replacing my prioritised action plan, my time management goals, my goals for the company, my personal goals, my unifying principles, my unassigned action list, and my page 30. And there's a great little plan in here that asks you to just check in. This whole thing only takes like 5 minutes. Like as if you haven't got time. You haven't got time to do the time management course. If you had time, you could do it. Already your stresses are already in the negative of that and wrong state and stuff. To me, it's always about stopping and just really planning what's need to happen here. But this says, on my long-term and immediate high goal priority, which should I work on today? Is that a good question to start the day off with? What projects will give me the highest return for my time invested? Is that a good choice in action? What projects will be the greatest threat to my survival or that of my company if I don't do them? Can sometimes we forget to do certain things that's costing us a fortune here? I've done it. I've been so busy helping someone or working it, so I've left my properties become vacant or something. You know, like it's... Yeah, or I'm making sure I'm not spending too much money here and we're just losing money here on the other side. This is for work, if people who work for someone. What projects does my boss consider the most vital? Is that a good question for someone who works for someone to check in? Because you know, you might have your plan, your boss has another plan. Maybe you could check in. Imagine that. What a surprise question. Who's got their own businesses here? Okay, so what if I came to you, Steve, and I'm working for you, and I say, Steve, I just want to check in with you. I've got these plans to do this work. Is there something you think that I could do that would help this company even better than them? Is there something that I should do for you to have you look better, have this company grow? Wouldn't the shock almost kill you? Yeah, okay, this is a conversation. Imagine someone having the gumption, the audacity, to come to a boss and do that. What sort of partnership could that be? Could you see how you have to give up the story about how bad he is and what a bad boss he is and what a terrible company this is and how they don't look after us? As you serve, as you give, so it's given back unto you. Which item on my previous action list and assigned list action list should I work on today? Can you see how these are rails to run on? Just checking in what's going on. And what does my unified principles suggest and what does my company policy suggest? Am I in alignment? Am I congruent? There's a word there, congruency again. And what has not been considered that will give me a high yield result? And so it goes on. So this is just a little part of this package of time management. And some of you have got these too and have forgotten again. You've got to get back, like you knew the gym, but you forgot. So, again, we got all the DVDs and all that stuff, and they're great because I did them. And all this is a whole process of running your life. And again, it's all about congruency. Now, none of this is important unless you're serious. If you're serious, and the very fact you came here tonight, the very fact you're watching this tonight, means you must be serious. Now, you can get off track and your thoughts can take you away and you'll have some, oh, Roy's selling some stuff here or something. You know, whatever you want to think, that's up to you. But you can also say, well, gee, is some action here, is some trust, is some lack in my life? Do I want to get these results? I can tell you, for my commitment, I can tell you that our team here are so committed. Even the people that aren't here, are they committed, Robert, our team committed to helping people be successful?
Yes, Roy, they are.
Yeah, and that's a man that doesn't even work with our company right now. He could have said, piss off, don't like you, whatever. But he experienced that. He experienced the commitment that people are. I was talking to Michelle today, the hours that she's worked on with people, like 2-3 hours, helping them sell their car and various things. Nothing to do, she didn't get paid for that. The commitment they are is enormous. Who's experienced that kind of commitment from our team? I'm just curious. Yep, sure. And do we get in the way? We do. So this is serious stuff, and if you're serious about this, we are too, and our team will be there. And we've even got a little coaching program now that we've just begun to give people some bit more hand-holding. Now, we've got our mentoring program. Our mentoring program is designed, it's free and it's there, and I'd love more of you on, and some people are even on and we can't see they're on. And we have great times on those mentoring, and you can send your questions in and we love to deal with it, and there it is. Some people, some here, maybe some watching this, may even like some personal coaching, and we have a little personal coaching program, and they're as low as like $97 a month, so it's like a really low kind of cost. Packed with this, if you get these $395 packages, the two of them, which is like about $800, you can get them for $595 if you buy them as a pack, and get a little payment plan on that and do it. So if anyone's wanting to talk to Alberta this evening about that, you can, and be on our coach and be personally coached. We just get a little coach. There's all different levels of that. Now, it's not tonight that this is what you must do. What I'm looking at is actions and saying, well, all actions are rewarded, just like buying a book, using your wealth account, investing in yourself, because you are your greatest assets. If that system will give you the home office and give you the things you need to do, then that's what you need to do. and you can also put it off. My question always is, how long do you keep putting your life off before you truly live it? And if you're happy about the last 5 years, don't change a thing. The next 5 years must be identical. This will never end. This is a constant building of you and your confidence and stepping up and doing that. Just on that, if we could take you back 10 years ago and have given you this, that little pack, just that. Who thinks that may have improved their life a little bit? I'm just curious. Everyone can put their hands up so see the value of that. What I notice sometimes is that people come along to some of these things and they just keep coming along, and we're grateful, and we never will tell them to stop. We don't see any action, and that's a shame, because they're kind of like they're there, but there's no action. And they're wondering why it's not working. They're wondering what's causing it. And some of them have been in dream teams. They can't work out that. There's a lot of, and there's some clues to this. Now, hopeful that when we leave here tonight, we'll not only get the clues, which is, what was the number one clue that I gave you? Trust? Being in state. I said there's two, but that's the number one. And that's an energy thing. That's about focus. That's about where am I, what am I looking. The only thing that grows in your life is what you focus on. The only thing, it's a law. The only thing that grows in your life is what you focus on. So if you're focusing on lack of trust, if you're focusing on debt, if you're focusing on how hard it is in the world, if you're focusing on it's a harsh place we live in. If we're focusing on that, then that's what's growing in your life. Anything that grows in your life is what you focus on and what you give energy to. If you're focusing on abundance and if you're focusing on life's, we're in flow, our environment's great. If we're focusing on that's what will show up in our life. That's the only thing that will grow in your life. The others will dissipate. It's a process. It's not overnight. It's a process. I've actually found miracles are a process. There's a holy instant where it supposedly happens, but it's a process in coming to that miracle. And for some of us, it's 65 years. It's like the overnight success in a band. They were practicing in garages for 20 years. In pubs and various things, that they became an overnight success. We often don't see the work that went into you, where you got to this point. And understand you're perfect exactly as you are. Perfection. There's a story about a young boy who was watching the guy do the balloons. A little black kid, he was just watching the balloon man. And he didn't have any money, he was just watching the balloon man. He was blowing the balloons up and doing them up and doing the balloons, blowing them up. And the little boy comes and said, you've got all the coloured balloons there. He said, there's a black balloon there. Do black balloons fly as well? He says. And the man said, it doesn't matter what colour the balloon is what's in the balloon that counts. They all fly. And who's in you will make you fly. Doesn't matter what's going on outside. It doesn't matter anything to do with you. It's only to do with what's inside. Okay, so Miss Kelly. Let's welcome Kelly. Let's give her a big, big hand here.
Thanks, Roy.
Wait. She's going to get her paper.
Because this is absolutely spontaneous.
Absolutely. So
Roy didn't know I was
hug.
coming tonight.
I know.
So it was, thank you, Roy. And I must say, and I'll let you know now the reason why, because I just turned up and Friday night going out to dinner with friends and family for a seafood dinner, beautiful glass of Merlot, and
Sounding
gave
so
it all
cool.
up.
What are you doing here? Let's go there.
Yeah, because, I did receive my beautiful gift of the Go-Giver today from OneLife, and I was having a swim with my gorgeous daughter late this afternoon, and I said to her, it's just in my heart, I just thought, I so wanted to be here for you tonight, and there was a lot of you I haven't seen since the last couple of abundances, and for me to just be here to serve you, because this is such a changing time on the planet, and action is one of my favourite topics, and I thought, what is the gift I could give? And it could be here to serve and support you, Roy, because you are one of the masters when it comes to action, and all you beautiful people have taken the action to turn up on a Friday night, and I really, really congratulate you all for being here, and that's why I'm here for you. So
let's
it is
give her a big hand.
spontaneous.
Let me just absolutely say this, because I'm going to let Kelly have her time and I'm going to leave this stage. But Kelly had no idea that she was coming on tonight. She had no idea even what she was wearing, or I have no idea. I didn't even know she was coming until they said downstairs, "Oh, Kelly's coming." I said, "Really?" And I had a very quick conversation with her on the way. I'm going to see a counsellor. And I said, "I'm going to..." Oh, no, that's right. They're in the office waiting. The finance meeting, they were waiting. I said, "It's 3 o'clock, I've got to go." And she was just... And what Kelly is a heart of hearts. She had written out a whole lot of notes for me, of which some of these you've seen on the board. And in fact, this is her notes. And she said, "I just left this for you. This is the whole of everything to do tonight. I just left it for you." And she emailed it as well. And of course, because I don't open email, she even printed it out for me and put it on Simone's desk and all of this stuff. And Kelly's a leader in our organisation. She's involved in marketing, lots of things. But this is the heart, and this is the epitome of service and giving. And we are so blessed. We've got that in Simone, we've got it with Karen, these are the leadership team. And I'm surrounded, and these girls are known as Charlie's Angels. And I'm Charlie. And so these girls we send in to do all the things, and they come, and we've told them that, because this one said, "I want a leather outfit with a zipper."
I've got the biggest kick.
Yeah. So they're buying leather, which Charlie's paying for, of course, because they've got to be well suited for this. And we're going away for a weekend. Charlie's Angels there, and bringing their partners and stuff. I'm just telling a story about giving, about people and the heart. This lady is a very, very clever woman. But this wasn't asked by me. She's been doing this almost every iCan since she's really been associated. I've never asked her to do it. I've never really even acknowledged her much of it. Well, thank you. And she just keeps giving and doing things. And then here she is tonight. She's decided, "I'm going to turn up and support Roy." Roy didn't ask for her to come. And I thought, well, I'll just make it difficult for her. I'll get her on stage.
But look who I have.
Exactly.
They're going to work with me.
So how good is it to have people like this around you and have this environment? So let's give Kelly a really big hand. And
thank you. So I am going to ask you to work with me on this, because we're making it up as we go. Not really. It's certainly a life I live. Action is one of my favourite words, and it is something that has changed my life. And for every action, there is another action and another action. But action is, can be quite crazy and out there on its own. It's just to take all these actions might get you nowhere. And so what I will say to you all is it does take management. It does take leadership. It does take some time. So with all my action, and I do have 5 companies, and they take time. And people ask me, "Oh my gosh, how do you have so much energy?" So what I want to share with you tonight is a little bit about managing your energy and your time as well. But once you manage your energy, you get into what we call a flow. Yeah, we up for that? Okay, so we are feeling energised. I want to get everyone a little bit more energised. And you know what? I always love, and if you've done abundance with me, it's all about me and massage. So let's just give each other a little massage. Turn this way. I want to just get you moving so we can really... Come on, Alberta. Come on, Rob. Up here for a little rub. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, down we go. All right. Bit of rainfall, bit of rain. Yeah. We remember this? Remember the rainfall? All the way down the legs. Wake up those legs. We've got really important information to go through. Okay. And on the head. Wake up, brain. We want to learn. Okay, and turn. Let's go. And back again. Yeah, that's it. Jeez, nice and deep. We can actually do a little movement if we want to, a bit of dancing lessons. Ooh, right, there we go. Okay, down the legs. Oh, there's some tight handies I've got over here. And wake up the brain. We need to listen, brain. We're going to learn a lot of lessons. hands, put your freaking hand tapping. It's alright. Okay, and a big hug from behind. Thank you. Woo! Thank you, guys. Thank you. I just wanted to get us all woken up so we can play together, because that's my favourite part. Now, what I did do is, because I do naturally have a lot of energy and a lot of action, I had to learn how to put it into a form of a plan. Yeah? So when I talked about managing your energy before, does anyone know what that means? Yeah? So managing your energy is like, you know, getting all these ideas and busyness and getting exhausted. The difference between getting exhausted and managing your energy, there's what we call an outward wave, which is where there's times where, you know, you want to put out all of this energy, new ideas, new concepts, whether you're doing book work, whatever your flow is, but you're putting out. Yeah? Does everyone know what that feels like? And there's times where you just want to hide away. And you think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I just want to watch a movie, be on my own, read a book, meditate. So important. So there's outward energy and there's inward energy. So we've got to learn to work with that. And everyone's cycles are different. So this is my cycle, and these are the days that worked for me. So what I look at doing is Monday's my creative day. I set aside a creative day where I can, if I have some branding to do, if I have some writing, I do a fair bit of writing, copy for my different clients, and especially for OneLife. So what I do is I set that day aside for anything creative. So when I'm in that flow, I do everything creative, yeah? It's even the house. I want to buy a new bedspread, that's on that day. Because it's my creative flow day. It stops you from being exhausted going creative books, creative phone call, creative. Do you know what I'm saying? So you get this wave. And that doesn't assist any of us. So Monday, and this is a really simple plan that everyone can take a step towards starting to do, is creative day. Tuesday and Wednesday is when I get a bit proactive. So I'm like, wake up and I'm like, that's the day, if I'm going to do some form of sales or relationship building or partnership building or anything in that world where I'm putting that outward flow of energy, these are my 2 days where I'm proactive. And that's usually, if you know what that's like when you're on that wave, it sort of gets you really excited too. So these 2 days are your days where you get proactive. Whatever it is, if you have to get out and do anything, go and even do a whole heap of shopping. Like, you know when you've got that huge to-do list and you've got to go and do all those things, it's like, go and get proactive. Thursday, usually things settle by that time of the week. Things have settled, you've done all these things so they're not in your brain, going, oh, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. Oh, I've got to design this and write this. Yes, it's all taken care of, so you're clearing out your brain along this way as well. So Thursdays when you gather a rhythm. It's like da-dum, 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 da-dum. And what I find is on my Thursday, my rhythm day, is by that time people are calling me back. Have you ever had that experience where you put it all out there and then you're like, it all just comes into you, so you're just thinking, oh, there it is, there it is, that's in a rhythm. You know, it doesn't feel hard, it doesn't feel a struggle, it doesn't feel exhausted. Like you're absolutely put out and you just keep putting out and there's nothing coming back. Is this making sense to everybody? I try and make it simple, because for me, if I get too deep in the detail, I'm gone, you know, out the door. So this works really well, and I'm hoping that each of these days can change for you. You'll have to really, you know, try it on and see if it works. Friday, I love this day, because this is my detailed day. This is admin, accounts, and pre-planning for the following week. I have to work at being there and present for this day, because otherwise, in the history, having all the companies I had, you know, BAS accounts, book work, it's like, oh my God, but it's got to be done, and I've got to be the one to do it. So if I don't do this, this sits in my brain till I get back to the following Monday. Do you think I can be creative when I've got this in my mind? And also, accounts and things like that, I mean, I put the work out, it's time for me to be paid as well. if that makes sense. So this is also money day. So this is creation for money day. I love this day. That's how I sell it to myself. So what I do though, I must say, I do give often my Saturday off to myself and Sunday some of the day. So Sunday's my family day, and then Sunday late afternoon and into the evening I do pre-planning for the following day. Because as far as action, if you predetermine, if you set your action forth, it will precede you. Does that make sense? So if I set my action forth on Sunday night, trust me, I wake up Monday, I'm already in that flow. So I'm like, all my creative things, I set them all in little piles. I've got to do colours for this, I've got to do branding for that, I've got to do copy for this. So by the time I wake up, I'm already in the creation. It's already started to flow for me. So usually too, each of these days, I don't do them in one place. So if I start off my creative day, usually that's around water. So I go for a swim, I go somewhere where there's water. Not all day, just some of the day. So if I can find a favourite place that's around water and changing where I go so that I can be creative, it flows much easier. So find and start looking for some places that are workable. Yeah, see, it might be a bit tough going to a park in the middle of a fountain and sitting on the side trying to get creative because there's too much happening. So you do need to consider your surroundings. But that really works for me because I'm a water baby. So when it comes to creation, I love water around me. Tuesday and Wednesday, that's usually my place where I can be quite like what I call blazy, but on the phone, talking to people, building partnerships, having one too many coffees, or fired up. I actually don't drink too much coffee. But so again, that's where I'm usually close where I can be planning and on the phone. And sometimes I do breaks around this. So every 2 or 3 hours I go, oh, I need a break. Yeah, because you're putting so much energy out. I need to rejuvenate for about half an hour and then I can go again. So it's just like, again, managing your energy. This is what we're doing. Thursday, gathering a rhythm. That's usually a day in the office. So usually the rhythm's quite settled by then. And again, admin and accounts, if I need to do some different things here, bring things in as far as account statements, just so I'm very planned because I will try and put this off as much as I can. So I know my stories, I tell myself, and that's an area where we really need to consider completely. Some people will find this very easy, this part here, and will find this a little bit more challenging. Yeah? You get that, Jules? Yeah. So now, I do this for me, and I don't have to physically go and do all of this either. I might get to a point where I think it's better and management of my time and my energy to hire someone to do some of these. Yes, that's a choice. That's a choice. So depending on your position, it's important though that I prep all this for the person, my bookkeeper and my accountant. So it still there has to be a level of my ownership over everything. And what I find, a lot of people that have their own companies, owner-operators, they will do some of these and not the rest of them, and they have every story in the world to say why. So it's this reason, it's that reason. And does everyone know what it's like to run stories? They're exhausting, aren't they? So it's like, do we want to run the stories? I don't think so. Because we have a choice. And I shared with you before that about serving for me. Part of what I do here too is in service. Because I'm always thinking every day when I wake up, I get to this point here and I say, you know, I might have 4 or 5 different questions I'll ask myself, and it's like, what am I grateful for? I mean, really, what am I grateful for? And I've got to think, and I think, wow, you know, I had that conversation with that person yesterday and I wasn't very happy about that, but what did I learn out of that? So I can actually move myself to a different place. And then I say, who do I love? I love you. So that's easy. But who do I love? You know, to bring it to the fore for myself. And then, a little bit more of a challenging question is, who loves me? Because it's really outstanding to be in a place of just going, and I really do. Sometimes I find that a little bit of a challenge. It's like, oh yeah, they love me, I'm sure. But just who does love me? So, what am I grateful for? Who do I love? Who loves me? What's my desires? What's my desire today? So I just ask myself those questions. I'm with myself, no one else. What's my passion? Because when we talk about these areas here, they're not all my passion, but I know how I feel when I get to the end. I've taken the action, which is my passion. To not take the action, I know what that feels like. Does everyone know what that feels like? There's words like what? Disappointment, frustration, impatience, procrastination. How do you feel when you feel those words? It's like, oh gosh. But we all know it. And we hear it and we know it. And it's like, if you take the smallest steps, which is why I just said start here, then you're winning because you feel so damn good. And when you feel that good, how can not everything turn to gold? Well, you see the gold in it. Might not always be able to see it straight up, but you will see it. So, what stops us from getting here and doing these things? Well, some of the things I've learned I'll share with you. Would you like to hear them? Yeah? Good. Okay, so let's say the first one is don't wait until conditions are perfect. Do we know that one? Do we know the excuses? It's like, I can't do that today because, oh, no, I haven't got enough money to pay for that. Oh, no, it's not the right weather. Oh, no, I plan to do that next year, really, when the kids are a bit older, when they're out of school. Why do I have so many businesses? Why does someone like Roy, have 69 companies and 2,948 trusts and, why? Because he's the biggest action man I know. He was on a mentor call till late last night, backs up early this morning, doing his Tibetan rites and running the company all day, here tonight to serve you, sees his wife on the weekend quickly and then off again on Monday to serve again. Pretty amazing. How can he do that? You're all humans, we're all humans. We can all do that. So if they're all on the plane with you on Monday, I'm sorry. We're all ready, we can do it.
Come to Perth with me, I'd be very impressed, it'd be great.
There you go. Yes. So there you go, you all have an offer. Jump on the plane on Monday to Perth. I'll see you next week, the end. So don't wait until conditions are perfect, because perfect is now. If you go home tonight, seriously, out of this, if you just take a couple little points and put them into action, you will feel amazing tomorrow. Yeah? And then I felt like I gave up my seafood dinner for a great reason. So number 2, be a doer. It sounds simple, but rather than thinking about it, planning for it, just do it. Be a Nike sponsor. Just do it. Forget the story. Isn't the story exhausting? I'm exhausted sometimes. And I'm thinking, and I'm telling myself the story and I'm doing that. It's like, that story's heavy. I mean, I'm sure we all have great stories, yeah? And a good story's good, just not a million times over. The same story. Squirrel? Oh, Screw It, that's a great book, huh? That's a really, really good book. And how are you finding that?
I've just come to the end of it. I love it. Easy to read.
Yeah.
Very fun and sometimes. Yeah,
He's a good writer. Tell me 3 points that you've learned out of that. Great.
3 points.
Just 3 of the main points that stayed with you.
Don't wait. Basically have courage in yourself.
Courage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Don't worry what other people say.
So don't worry about judgments. Yes.
Yeah.
So courage, I agree. I absolutely agree. Where are we? Yes. Courage. Judgments. Yeah.
And the other one was no regret.
Ah. No regrets. You know, that is just such a great one for me. Lee just reminded me. No regrets. I have always said, I had my first business at 11, of course. I used to rip up cardboard boxes and put them into the incinerator for the local chemist. I think I got like 50 cents or something for the week. I was very excited about it. I got the best red lipstick because I used to throw out all the little samples that come home at 10 looking gorgeous. But it gave me the experience of earning my own money. At an early age, I made that decision. So I never wanted to, and I've always said I never wanted to get to like 100, 150 even. These days I think we can go beyond that. And be disappointed that I didn't take the action, that I had the ideas and the concept, and I so wanted to, I just so wanted to, but I didn't have the courage. And I so wanted to, but I was so concerned about judgment. Everyone's going to judge me. What are they going to think if I do it? What do I think if I don't do it? So it is so important. They're little words, but they're big words because we're not getting any younger. Well, some of us are. I think what I've seen in science these days, they can do anything. But I mean, you know, we don't have the time back again as such. It's just the time. It's like now. Now's the time. Now, this moment. I've given up Friday night. You give up your life. You know? That one, put it aside and pick up your new life, like Roy says. The new life, again tonight, make a new decision, make a new agreement with yourself. That's why you're here. Do you know how many people achieve abundance and how many people are in this room? Like you are the action people. You've taken the steps to be here. I expect big things from you guys. So, be a doer. Number 3. Remember that ideas on their own don't bring success. And that's why Roy is so committed to bring out for you have some tools here. And I go, time management, but it's so good. I remember reading it thinking, oh my God, if I can just do those 3 things this week, then I'm already winning. And I'm feeling great and I'm managing my energy. So that's why he's got the tools. That's why he's like, you just take it and people, oh, you know, there's reasons. And I can't do the time management. No, not now. How can you not afford to do the time management? Even if you're not a time management type of person. Take one step. This is management. Take your management step. You have the tools. There is no excuse. There's no excuse. So, they won't bring you the success just with an idea. There's millions of ideas. You don't take the action, where are you going to be? Does everyone get that? Yeah? Absolutely. So, they are simple and they are real and they do work. But you have to make the decision. Okay, this is a really good one. Use action to cure fear. How many people here are fearful of taking the action? Yeah? I'd say probably nearly everyone. Would that be a safe bet? It is fearful because you at times don't know what's on the other side. You know, to take that action, it's so fearful, but I'm telling you, please listen to me. You take that action, the fear turns into excitement. Then the next time you get to that boundary, you've already gone beyond. You know, and so like each time, that's why we're here. Don't be fooled, you're here to do the work. People say to me, oh, success. I get up, I'm on the program. 5:30 every morning. Yes, sometimes I don't get to bed till 1. Hey, but I don't have that story that I've only had this many hours sleep. I just go, this is my commitment to me. Yeah, so no fear. I'm not fearful that I'm going to be tired. I'd be more fearful that I had to sleep in every morning. I had the excuse in the story. So, who's going to make a decision tonight? Who's going to give themselves permission to go through that fear the next time it arises? I want to see a show of hands. Seriously? Are we all serious? That next time, because you remember this moment with me on Friday night and Roy, and you'll go, oh, I made that commitment. I gave myself permission to go through that fear. And you will feel the difference on the other side. And then you'll go, that wasn't too bad. You'll say, screw it, I'm going to do it again. Hey, Lee, I'm up for the next one. So what was that, Jules?
Just on that note, Kelly, on the email from OneLife relating to this iCan action tonight, and it was action conquers fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just so powerful for me when I saw that line, and I will never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying that to myself, and that's only in the last couple of days that I read it. And it's been pretty successful in the last couple of days. So action conquers fear. So powerful.
So you know it. You had that full experience.
Absolutely. There's been several times where I've had that fearful moment of, oh, I don't think I could do this, back to do it. And then you conquer that fear.
Well,
yes.
That's why state is so important.
Yes.
I mean, you don't always have to be, you know, wherever you are, slapping your hands like Roy does, but you can consider that because you know how that energy feels, so you can bring that forth. I have a 10-year-old daughter that gets herself into state before she does anything, as in something competitive, if she wants to go into a test at 10 years old. So you don't have any excuse. And she remembers it. She tells people, you've got to get into state. I do. You know, there's a little dance and celebration afterwards too, because you feel so good. So someone called me the other day, and he was in a lot of fear. Oh, this and that and this and that. And I said to him, you know, Mike, I said, I just love you. I just love you. And he goes, what? I said, I just love you. I said, thank you so much for your friendship. He goes, yeah, I love you too. And I went, and then we started talking about something so different. He was so shifted in state in, I'm talking 5 seconds. It was just that one thing. I mean, you don't want to necessarily tell everyone you love them if you don't feel okay about that just yet, but it was such a shift in state from fear to love. And he just went, huh, it's like taking your attention from there to there. And then we had a laugh, but then he couldn't stop laughing. He said, you did it to me, that thing. And I said, how do you feel? He said, I feel great. I'm going back to work now. And I said, great. And you know, that's why we're all change makers here. We all can make the change. Because that changed me too. So it was a giving and receiving in that experience. Lots of fun too. So there's many ways. And as you said, Jules, you're having the experience right now. As soon as you call it forth, it's there. So start your creative engine mechanically, okay? A lot of people say, like you shared, you have a bit of a challenge being creative. So it's like, well, start it, make the time, set aside the time.
I pass that on to Steve.
Well, that's good. How do you go, Steve?
Yeah, I think I'll pass the mechanical stuff over to Jules.
Oh, really?
I love creating things. Yeah, I'm a creative. I'm always creating something.
Well, if you all don't have a Steve at home to pass it on to, you might have to consider yourself, because it is an excuse that I hear often.
I would say she has amazing creativity in her, and I guess I don't want to take what she should be doing herself. So she needs to really look at her own creativity for sure. And she certainly has it.
That plan of yours, though, is incredible. Just a work of art. And just to simplify it like that, instead of everything just fuzzy and jumbled up. And
a lot of words sometimes, isn't it? It's like, oh.
And then at the end of the week, you haven't actually achieved that much anyway.
Yeah.
And then you know, it's just a circle. It's beautiful. So thanks. If that's all I get out of tonight, wow. watch out, here
As
I come.
I said, I'm glad I gave up the dinner. If that's how you get out of it, I'm happy with that. But set your time aside. Everybody is creative differently. Yeah, whatever it is for you, it's there and it's present and it needs to flow. And you will love it. You'll love that part of you.
I just want to say thanks for that beautiful banana bread you created yesterday.
Oh, love, love, love. This is something that we live by here at OneLife. And sometimes it's a challenge. We are so outstandingly, magically lucky, if we want to use luck, to live in the present. To really support each other, to be present, to be here, to be now. Because we're all around each other each day of like minds. So if you don't have like a partner at home and you're on your own, find someone that you're going to see regularly that can keep you present. Does everyone know what that means, being present? Does anyone not know what that means? Please ask if you're not sure, so we can sort of work through that. So everyone knows? Great. Being present is being now. Not thinking tomorrow, what happened then, the judgments even, yeah? When you're thinking judgments of me, you're so not present, you're not here right now. So, live in the present because everything will come to you. Colleen? There is only the present. Absolutely, because if you're not in the present, where are you?
So be in the present or you'll just miss it.
Yeah, each moment, all those opportunities. Absolutely. Couldn't be better said. Okay, this is the big one. Hey, get my drum roll. Get down to business. You know, let's stop talking about it. I've given you some really easy tips. I run by this, and as I said, I have a lot of businesses. And they take a fair bit of time. And I'm disciplined. And it's a challenge, sometimes, more than others, to stay on purpose, to stay in the present. But I have leaders. You know, I have mentors. Thank goodness for my mentors. Thank you, Roy, for being a mentor. And I have an amazing spiritual mentor who's Mylene as well. Outstanding. So I look to plan my life. Does that resonate with anyone here? Like, so instead of going, oh well, I can't because of, it's like, okay, so who do I need? It doesn't always come down to money. The first thing people say to me in business, or I can't do this because I can't afford it. It gets down to how can you afford not to, but create it. That could be one of your first things for a Monday. Create it, make it happen. Think, who do I need? I need a spiritual leader or mentor. I need a leader or a coach because I've got a great business, but I'm just not leveraging it. I've got a great business, I'm just not adding value to it. I'm really intelligent, but I'm just not getting there. So all those questions, find a leader. I know that we have coaches and they're so affordable. And if it's not us, somewhere else, but when you set your intention, it will happen. Just to wrap up, manifestation. We get down to business, which is why we're all here. Life is business. Let's get down to business and make our intentions, set them, and get out of our own way, and allow it to happen in front of us. If we don't do that, how's it going to happen? Manifestation is present in your lives right now. So, when you leave tonight and you put these into a plan and you take some of these on board, or all of them would be great. They're simple. I put this together as a simple little package like Lego. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look what I've got. A plan. Yeah? So, that is my gift. Spontaneity's been present this evening. That's been my gift of myself and what works for me. And talking about manifestation, you know, I have an online dating business, and someone over here said, well, we're really interested in that business and being involved, but we want more traffic. You know, we need to see your traffic. And I said, okay, All right, well, I just have to think about that. And within 2 days, I had a call from someone I dealt with 6 months ago in an affiliate company, and he said to me, oh, you know, I was just thinking yesterday, amazing so, I was just thinking about your dating business, and I have over 200,000 single members, and I think we could work out a deal where I could deliver that traffic to you. Now, that's in 48 hours, that conversation between one and the life plan just went do. I said, you know what? I think you're on target. I think we can do something. That's a true story. That happened this week. So I was just like, again, it's like another miracle. Miracles are happening every moment. So just embrace them, trust them. Trust is our word. And that's what we've been going through this week. We've all had experiences in OneLife, and I don't know whether you've had any experiences this week, but we've had really outstanding experiences to remember to trust and get out of our own way. So if I can leave you with that this evening, it's always fabulous to see you guys. I'd like to see you back jumping around a stage with me, revisiting Abundance someday soon. There is another one. Is anyone revisiting in a couple of weeks? Anyone here? Well, you should be. Oh, no, not really. But we'll be sadly missed. But I always remember you must reignite all your lessons learned and keep that moving forward too. So, love you all. Thank you very much.
Let's give her a big hand, guys. Woo-hoo! Give her a big hand. Fabulous, fabulous. And thank you, as we said, spontaneity. So, we want to finish up, and we want to finish up with action. Action is always rewarded. So, I want you to leave here with 3 actions, whatever they are for you. Let's write them down now. And everyone's going to write their own. What action could you take that would give you the best outcome for this next month, the month of April, and we've got a new quarter starting up? And usually something to do with your health, something to do with money, and something to do with relationships. And they could be all of the same if you wish. It'd be great if you could share them a bit. What action that you would like to take that would move this? And those people watching this, I'd like you to write them down now, and give yourself a date and time what you want to do. And it could be it could be to contact your child you haven't spoken to, or buy your wife some flowers. I'm taking these flowers home tonight to my Katrina. Yeah, she's going to see that. What action would you take? I'm going to really, get my important document file together, because I haven't done that. I'm going to clean out the boxes, the boxes I've been carrying around. I'm actually going to throw out some things out of my wardrobe. You know, that wardrobe of yours that just keeps getting cluttered. I'm going to be of service to someone on the weekend. I'm going to give of myself. I'm going to be available. Do you know within 4 blocks of where you live there's someone living alone and they have no one to have dinner with on Sunday night? It doesn't take you very far to find them. An action step of service. Invite someone to your place and have it just to give them some connection and some dinner. And remember, receiving and giving are identical. Maybe it's an action of that I'm going to join a gym, or I'm going to get and as Kelly said, I did my 5 Tibetan rites this morning. I did my push-ups, my sit-ups, and my squats. And I do the morning power questions. And one of those questions, what am I grateful for? We did our meditation here, our relaxing this morning with our team, and we went around. We had a word. My word was gratitude. What am I grateful for? Why am I so happy today? That's a great question. Why am I happy? It always shows with a laugh. Who do I love and who loves me? What am I committed to? What am I truly committed to? These are the power questions. So, I'd like to get a microphone again and just share very quickly. Anyone like to share their 3 things that they've written here? Yep, right down here. Let's get it to Gary. Microphone. Thanks, Robert. Go ahead. Yeza?
Work on lifetime management.
Perfect. So you've got the manual, so you can just go and recheck that in and just maybe watch a couple of videos, do DVDs, do a bit of work, get that. Maybe you'll get a new gold card there, and your daily plan.
Yep.
Great. There's a big one. Yep.
Get a coach.
Get a coach. Hey, that's good.
And have a dream team meeting.
Okay. Have a talk to Alberta or with Ty before you leave.
Yep.
And they will set up the appropriate one for you. We have a various range of coaches here in our program and place. And the second one, the next one?
Have a dream team meeting.
There's some leverage in that, isn't there? And maybe even sit down with your dream team and say, what's our commitment? What we want? What's our result here?
Yep.
And maybe we draw a line in the sand, we have a fresh start with them.
Sounds good.
Sounds really good. Sounds like excellent 3 steps. Now, if you put that in your goal card, those 3 steps, this is my intention, write them in a really smarties way: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, tangible, inspiration, leading to success. Could be really great. Well done. Give them a clap. That's a really good outcome here. Would someone else like to share their 3? Yep, right here. Thanks, Robert. Last one, we'll just get this done. If you pass that to Steve.
Okay, my first one is to contact the accountant to set up the trust for the business we've just started, and to register the business name is the second one.
Wow.
And the third one is to spend a few hours with Jules this weekend, get to the beach.
Wow, that's great. Well done. Let's read them again.
Say again?
Read them again.
Contact the accountant, this will be Monday, to set up the trusts for our business.
Good.
We have been in touch with Nick, but we need to finalise that. Register the business name. We've been speaking to the banks. We're setting up merchant facilities and things, and we need that business name registered. So that's been a bit of a procrastination. We need to do that.
Good.
And I need to. And spend time with Jules, quality this weekend, yeah.
Quality time with Jules.
We're at the beach.
Beautiful. At the beach, that sounds like a quality place to be. Good job. Let's give him a clap. How do you feel?
Fantastic. Yeah, really good.
Good. Okay. I said there were something I was going to share with you, remember? State. And this one. You remember vision and passion? We do this almost most programs now. And we have a vision for our life, you know. Cassie has a vision for how she's going to be spending the time with Michael. Michael has a vision how she's going to do that, and they're passionate about this. If we don't do this one, though, number 2, we'll lose the vision and we'll lose the passion. We have a business. These guys have got a business. They've got a vision of how their business is going to be. They've got a passion for what it's going to be like. And everyone knows what goes in here, yes? And what is it? Discipline plan. Oops, sorry. Discipline plan. Just imagine it's discipline. Discipline plan. Without a discipline plan, we have nothing. Now, some people are already disciplined and they've lost their vision and passion. Your time management system, this whole process of action steps. There are 12 steps in the action program. Wealth account, strategic spending, 7-year plan, goals program. Does anyone remember the next lot? Check in with your consultant. Under new management. Mission statement, page 30. Remember them all? I have never met a person who's failed to make $1 million and become successful in balance and harmony in our program ever that can put their hand on their heart and have done our discipline plan of our 12 steps for 3 years even, let alone 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I meet people who fail regularly, and they can only tick the boxes on some of those because they meant to do them, but they never got their wealth account up. They never really upgraded their strategic spending. They never really kept their 7-year plan and upgraded it every year. They never really did their goals card on a consistent basis. They never, they meant to. The stuff we teach is very simple. These are all actions. You need to be in consciousness to do this. And I'll give you the final clue. And there are 5 of them. You can write them down. Steps. And we've already covered some of them. Number 1, be in state. And number 2, questions. The quality of questions you ask yourself will determine the quality of the outcome. Questions are everything. And we ask ourselves questions constantly, every day, just that we're not in the right state to even ask the right questions. We're asking questions like, who's going to do this? As opposed to, what do I want and when do I want it? Quality question determines the quality of the outcome. High quality questions will give you a high quality outcome. Number 3 is your values. Your values will lead to your actions. Values is very, very important. High values, high action. And so you want to check in, what are your values? If you value your family, why are you hanging out at the pub? If you value your wealth and wealth creation, why are you spending all your money on stupid stuff? Why don't you have a wealth account? If you value your health, why are you eating this junk stuff? You know, why aren't you? Because most of us know about health and well-being, but we don't do what we need. So our actions aren't consistent. We're not congruent. The fourth one is belief. What do you believe? What Kelly was sharing here is magic beliefs. And if you have belief in who you are in this, if you have a belief that you can do, if you feel that's a confidence thing, your actions are going to show up differently. If you believe you're going to fail, if you believe you're not any good at this, if you think, well, I'm from South Africa, what would I know? And no one's going to employ me anyway. And anyway, the whole country's going under and this country's no different. If that's your belief, can you see? If you have a belief, well, this is a brand new day, this is a fresh day. I'm in consciousness, I've got some great thoughts here, I'm in state, and I've got to trust in a power greater than I am. I'm in partnership. My actions are going to be superb. My actions, I am on purpose. My results are going to be very different. And the last one, what would be the last one? If we've got great state, great questions, great value, great beliefs. What's that? That will remove all doubt, you're right. However, it's kind of like that. This one's one of the most important guiding lights is what are my references? What are my references? What am I referencing? Like, in other words, if I'm referencing the past, if my references are such that I am thinking about my failures, as opposed to my references are, I'm using Kelly as a model, Alberta, Ty. I'm trying to find successful people that I can align with. And I'm going to reference that. If I'm hanging with people who are losers, guess what's going to happen? If my references are this, that's not of honouring of myself and qualities, then so it will be. So we have this as a handout for you so you can remember. And we have also the print of that one we did on the screen for you as a handout tonight. And you can pick that up as you get your book. That's good. Sorry, Kelly, just get a microphone for Kelly, or you even got it on. That's good.
Just adding to what Roy said about the book before. What I often do with books like into that, because I want to create a ripple effect of my own, is I would buy something like that and then I would read it and gain the knowledge and gift and wisdom from it, and then I would usually write in it and hand it over to somebody else and then ask that they pay it forward. So in just one small step, what you do is $24 or whatever it is, and you know that's pretty much cost, and I know that that's what Roy does when he buys books. You know, that's a start. That's the start of you serving. So it's how you view things. It's like, well, once I read this, I'm going to give that to my brother or sister or mother or father, or to change their life. Books and education changes people's lives.
That's such a great thing. Let's give Kelly a clap. Well done. Give her a big hand. Woo! And just so you're clear on that, we have absolute trust here. Absolute trust. And if you forgot to bring your money tonight or something, or you don't have that kind of money, we'll trust you. Just send it to us when you're ready. It'll happen. Always does. Always. The level of trust you'll have with someone is always based on the level of trust you have for yourself. It's always a reference. So, don't let ever, it's never anything about the money. Never is, never will be. It's always about you. It's about your level of trust. It's the game you want to play. It's you stepping up and playing a different game. Next program we have, iCan is on the 29th of April, which is a Friday. And guess what it's on? Decisions. Who's a good decision maker? I'm just curious. Let me think, if your hand wasn't up in a fraction of a second, which hardly anyone was, that means you need to do this one very, very quickly. Because decisions are your next step from actions. Dave, just noticing you here, I met you many years ago, or 3 years ago, I don't know how long ago, something like that. Dave come all the way here from Kyogle. I'm assuming you still live in that territory. Had the coffee shop there, little township of Kyogle. Who knows where Kyogle is? Yeah, beautiful little township. Had a little coffee shop, and you know how you can invest in something and it's a lemon? Was this a lemon, Dave? A lot of money in, not much money out. Yep. Yeah, lost your passion as well. That's good. Good, Robert. Keeping your head down. Well done. And working a lot. Three beautiful daughters and a wife. Working very hard. And what did I tell you when I first sat down? I had a cup of coffee in your place.
You did?
And they spent a lot of money. They spent more money doing it up. You remember when you were a young girl, this is 100 years ago, working in the shop for nothing or something. And I said, what was said to do with this shop?
Yep, we sold
Sell it. And was that the best decision you made? Get rid of that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It eased everything up on our financial side of things anyhow.
Yep. And put a lot of money in, and there was a loss. That's okay. You take the loss. It's like roulette. You know, you don't keep betting. You know, this is a losing thing. It's unfortunate. There it was. Get it. He came in, already had that, and he said, "This is where stress. You know, working long hours, getting nothing. Da 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 da." So, take it on the chin. Move on. A whole new life. And Dave, it's really great. You used to come. I used to see you here. You used to bring the girls here. How long does it take to come from Kyogle to here?
It's only a couple of hours.
Couple hours. Hello. I think more than that, because I know. Anyway, more than 2, I'm going to suggest. And they'll finish, and they'll either drive home tonight or they'll stay here. And David's brought one of his daughters with him. I have people who come to our Sydney. This is on Sydney. They can't get across the bridge. You know, you guys, some people here. Peter, you came from Lismore, usually that way. So you can. Yes, right. So long distances. People come from Brisbane. And there's people watching this who you know, they live in other states. What I'm just so grateful for is the commitment you are and the action that you are. Huge action. And I'd love to catch up with you again, Dave, because it's been a year or so since we've touched base.
It's probably about 3 years.
Okay. So you just, you know, he was just there, and I said, wow, this is great. And, you know, I call this a success story. You know, and yet we're kind of fresh and starting again. And starting wherever it is. We're always fresh and we're always starting again. So good job. Okay, so my second thing really is this discipline plan. Have a discipline plan, and the other one was the 5 steps, you know, that we just gave you then. You know, so look at that and see how we do our life, and see what questions we have, what values we're doing, what's our references, you know, what's our beliefs around all this stuff, and what state we're in. Okay, I want to get some feedback. We'll get a microphone. We'll just do a quick little best thing, and we're done because we're almost 9. Finished. You got your 3 steps, so we leave here, never leave the scene of a decision without action. And you got your 3 action steps. Make that your commitment. If you want to really lock it in, send them to me. Roy at OneLife, and say, Roy, these were my 3 action steps. You got it, Gary? You'd send them to me by email. Just don't have to do any more. Here they are. Thank you, da da da. And you know the fact that you give it out like that, that will lock it in. You know, it's like another step for an action. It's like having someone be part of. If you ever want to ever achieve an action step, something you really want to do, tell a person who doesn't even like you that you're going to do it. If you say, I'm going to give up smoking, oh yeah, arsehole, you got no idea. Watch, I'm going to do this. Oh really? Oh, you're always full of it. You're all, yeah, that's the one you got to tell. They'll hold you to it. How you going with the smoking? Well, I've stopped. Oh okay, right. Whatever. Don't give it to someone who likes you. Find someone who doesn't. And tell them. I'm, you know, just stirring you up here, but it does work. Because you go with someone safe, you know, and they'll let you off. You tell someone who, you know, would hold you to it. In fact, tell them, hold me to this. Hold me. Call me on it when I don't. Call me on it. Like he said, he's going to do that. He's going taking you to the beach and stuff. Like, you're there. We're packing. There you go. Look at that. Woohoo. Give me a hand.